Oh, funny. Okay, I'm going to just leave it like that.
I love being the technician and the speaker. So much fun. All of a sudden I flicked it and I was the one on the camera. Thank you, all three of you. It's great, great song. Listen to your heart. So I just want to remind everybody of the, was it a gold nugget? Because something in this talk today is going to ring true for you. It's going to be something that you can take with you that helps you to navigate life. And also, if you want to join us, there's no prerequisite to this Fear to Faith workshop that I'm going to be doing. It's just to help us understand how to deal with our fears and let them go, you know? Okay, so today I'm talking about the eye of the storm. We all know that eye of the storm because this month our theme is all about emotions. Emotions, living this year in everyday wonder. So Reverend Suzanne spoke of this last Sunday, and she spoke last week for us to notice where and what emotion we are in. Yes? Do you remember that? Yeah, and learning to live from that high watch of our self-awareness. From that place where it's like, what am I thinking? What am I believing in this moment? Because emotions can provide us with lots of wonderful information. And when we are willing to acknowledge, to take a look at our emotional structure, that place in us that has memory, fear of our emotion. Anybody afraid of your emotion? Stifles our spirit. It's like when we allow emotions to run wild like a stampeding herd of cattle. Anybody feel like sometimes their emotions are running wild? I have felt that way. Then our life experiences are running out of control. The herd of our beliefs are totally out of control. Does that make sense? Good. I liken this event to having my hair on fire. That's what it feels like to be. My hair's on fire. Okay. But emotions are valuable. Emotions are valuable to us and valuable human tools to use as our healing. Now, when we're in it, when we're in the wild stampede, it's not easy, is it? So we have to have some tools in what Reverend Suzanne calls our tool belt, assisting us as we learn compassion and faith in ourselves and for ourselves. When we get mad at ourselves because something happened or we're upset or our hair's on fire, that doesn't help the situation, does it? Emotions help us grow spiritually. Emotions help us to deepen our faith and to learn to trust. We expect people to treat us kindly, don't we? We expect people to treat us with respect and loving kindness. However, this doesn't always happen, as we well heard this morning. People treat, and I hear this, people treat us as they believe life is treating them. I'm going to repeat that. People treat us as they believe that life is treating them. Thieves are afraid that you will steal. That you will steal from them. Because they know what it's like to steal. You know, when I was managing a bar years ago, it was really funny because the people that I noticed were suspicious of everybody else, would hide their purses, put their stuff away, where the rest of us just left our things out there. Cheaters are afraid you will cheat them. Loving people expect you to be loving in return. And that's sometimes where we get misunderstood, isn't it? Loving people don't always get loved in return. Rick taught me a great exercise years ago. I came home all twisted up. My hair was on fire. Somebody at church seemed to always watch what I was doing and pointed out every mistake I made. Anybody been there? So I'm standing there in the kitchen and I'm just ranting. Anybody rant? Or is it just me? No, maybe it's just me. You probably know somebody who's ranting. And I'm just going on about this event, and all of a sudden, Rick starts doing this. George is a jerk. George is a jerk. He starts saying out loud, George is a jerk. George is a jerk. And here I'm seeing, you know, I'm sharing, and he's going, George is a jerk. George is a jerk. And I started to laugh. And that wasn't George, but okay. I used George because I hope there's not a George here today. Anyway, as he's standing there, and then I joined him. George is a jerk, George is a jerk, George is a jerk. Now, if you think somebody's a jerk or somebody's upset you, I want you to try this because it works. It really works. What does it do? It gets the anger, it gets the hurt, it gets the upset out of your body. Did you get that? So now when I have a problem, I start doing this because I don't want that upset in my body. Now you don't do it in front of George. But doing it assists us in moving into the next realm of, you know, how can I be more loving in this environment? And so it works, you guys. I was so shocked that I began to laugh. Because just as you did, it's funny, isn't it? Especially when you see a minister talking about George being a jerk. It moved my rant, it moved my anger, it moved my upset out of my body. And I began to feel greater. I began to feel freedom. I began to feel clarity. I began to realize that George was just doing what he thought was right for him. It isn't about me. It isn't about you. It's what they believe. The thieves are afraid you're going to steal. The people who lie are sure that you're lying to them. To get the clarity, we've got to come back and be centered in ourselves. And I even started to feel love for poor George. Because his whole process was looking for what was wrong. Because he always kept looking for what was wrong in his life. Once I understood this, I could find compassion, loving kindness for George. Because that, in my opinion, is who you are. That's who I am. We never find a solution or a healing in our anger. We never find a healing or a solution in our outrage or from our fear. Because you see, we can't go there. That emotion takes over our bodies if we allow it. This technique and other techniques have helped me in processing my emotions that no longer serve me. That help me to get down from being overwhelmed or moving into a place that the emotion that I'm feeling is running my life. Another technique I use is writing what I call a purge. If you're upset about anything, a purge is a wonderful technique. And it's free-flow writing. George is a jerk, George is a jerk. Page after page after page, until you start to laugh, until you start to look at George or look at the situation from a little bit clearer viewpoint. Because writing, and you do pages, I've written pages. Because when we do that, we get clarity. We get it out of our bodies. Because you see, the body is a simple intelligence. The body believes what you think and what you say. And when we hold emotion in our body, it causes disease, disharmony. And so when we write our hurts, when we write our upsets, when we write our fears, we release our bodies from the tension and the on-fire hair that we think we have to be in. Does that make sense? Good. And from the heaviness of the hurt. Now, what I want to premise on this thing about writing and purging. Once you write it all out and you call everybody a name, or whatever you want to say, then you want to make sure you burn that paper. You burn it and you give it to God. Because you see, you never want anybody to find your purge. Okay? Does that make sense? Good. We need to be more like ducks. You know, ducks just glide across the lake. They're so beautiful. Looks like nothing bothers them. While all the time underneath they're paddling like hell to keep moving, to stay up on the surface of the water. Let's stay afloat. And for us to stay afloat, we need to be reminded where we are in the storm of life. So let's look at the chart. We always have to have a chart. We all know what great storms are. The eye of the storm is the place of peace. The eye of the storm is the place of such quiet. All hell is breaking loose all around here. Okay? That's like us. Fear, doubt, worry is not in the eye of the storm. Peace is. Love is. Spirit is. And just going even in the middle of the storm from the eye, if we just stop and say, isn't it wonderful that this is the quiet place? This is a place of safety. So yeah, we're going to be out here. The question I have is, how far out are you going to go? It's like, oh, I'm going to do the work to bring me back in. That's our job, our responsibility. Isn't it wonderful? What is this asking of me? I love that question that I ask myself. What is this asking of me? If I'm out here worrying, what is that asking of me? It's asking me to correct my course. That no matter how difficult the storm of life gets, there is a place in each one of us that is peaceful. There is a place within each one of us that is the spirit of life that feeds us. We all feel anger at times. We all feel doubt. We all feel fear. And old hurts do come up. The story now. Imagine that you've just gone to the grocery store and you're just loaded with these bags of groceries. And you're coming out of the grocery store, and all of a sudden, somebody bumps into you, and your groceries spill all over. There's broken eggs, there's tomato juice, there's everything from those bags all over the ground. And the immediate answer, the immediate thing, what an idiot! What did you do? Didn't you see me? And so you get up off of the ground and you look over at this person that just bumped you, and you realize that he's blind. And suddenly you go, and he's on the ground too. You say, oh, are you okay? Can I help you? We came back to that center place of peace. We can change our mind about everything. This isn't there to hurt me. This isn't there to harm me. I can always buy more eggs. This morning as I was cracking my egg, the shell just went all over the place. I'd start to laugh. I go, oh, you're funny. I laugh at myself a lot because this is where I want to live, not from anger. It's training. Does that make sense? Okay. So there's another thing that I do, and this is my Science of Mind textbook. And I'm going to have some used ones that I have. I don't have any on the back shelf. But the Science Mind textbook, when I get to the place, also you can use the monthly magazine because it has great things in it. But I'll open the Science of Mind. This is my original Science of Mind textbook. And right in the beginning, Ernest Holmes writes, "Peace be unto you, stranger. Enter and be not afraid. I have left the gate open, and thou art welcome to my home. There's room in my house for all. I have swept the hearth and lighted the fire. The room is warm and cheerful. You will find comfort and rest within. The table is laid and the fruits of life are spread before thee. The wine is here also. It sparkles in the light. I have a chair just for you where the sunbeams dance through the shade. Sit, rest, and refresh your soul. Eat of the fruit and drink of the wine. All is yours, and you are welcome." I love that. There are many times, there's also meditations at the back. There are many times I'll open to that just to find that place of peace. I hope you found it this morning. The eye is where we all want to live from. We're going to be on the Hair on Fire place, but now you know where you want to come back to. Yes? Yeah. Okay. So let's just take a moment and pray. So knowing and accepting that there's only one life, one power, one all-loving, all-nurturing presence, by whatever name. I call this God, the infinite, the divine, the beloved, the spirit of life. And it is the very life that lives within me. And what I know is true of me, I absolutely know and accept is true of each and every one of you. For we each are the beloved place where God shows up. This is what I know to be true. I know that this loving, all-powerful, all-giving essence is that life force that is healing, renewing, restoring, and lifting each and every one of us into that center place of peace, of harmony, of wholeness. Ask and you do receive. Knock and the door shall be open. I know and accept that this morning we opened, we received, and we knocked. And in this we give grateful thanks as we let God do God's work. And so I just release this, my powerful word, into that ever-living, loving law of God that returns to and through each and every one of us, multiplied, magnified, spilling over. We are full to overflowing with the goodness that is here now. And we just let God do God's work. And if you're in agreement, please join me as you said, and so it is. Amen.